So for today's Thriller Thursday, we're talking about a book in which a man may or may not have committed murder because, damn it, he doesn't remember. Intrigued? Stick around. Well, hey friends, Roger here, and welcome to my channel, Rogers Reads. So today we're talking about a book entitled Death Overdue by David S. Pederson. Now, I was so excited when this book came to my attention, given that it takes place in Milwaukee, my hometown. So the story takes place in the 1940s and follows police detective Heath Barr, who is having a clandestine affair with another police officer, Ellen Keyes. So again, keep in mind, 1940s. So given that being gay during this time period could lead to arrest, being institutionalized, and certainly fired from one's job, especially if you're a police officer, it's essential that the two men keep their relationship a secret. So when Heath receives a note that says, "I know what you are," his world begins crumbling around him. As it turns out, a lowlife named Larry Crow, a janitor at the police station, is blackmailing him to the tune of $500, or else he will tell everyone about Heath and Ellen's secret. So after Heath's troubling meeting with the lowlife, he heads off to the bar and has several double martinis. He then decides to return later on to Larry's apartment, maybe to negotiate with him further. He's not really sure because he doesn't remember anything after having left the bar. Which, as it turns out, is quite unfortunate because Larry was found murdered later that afternoon. Of course, Heath then becomes the prime suspect in the murder. And of course, the kicker is that he's not even sure of his own innocence, given that the events of the afternoon for Heath are a complete blank. And it's not inconceivable that in his drunken state, he returned to Larry's apartment and killed him, given that Larry was threatening him with utter ruin. So even though it's against the rules that could land Heath into some significant hot water, he, along with his boyfriend Ellen, decide to investigate the crime and attempt to discover what really happened that afternoon. Luckily for Heath, he is not the only suspect. We also have Heath's cousin Liz, who was actually married to the lowlife blackmailer. Then there's a dangerous gangster known as Vinny the Horse. And finally there's Miss Caldwell, the local librarian who seems to be sweet on Larry's current wife, or should I say current widow. So yeah, I really loved the underlying tension through the story as we, along with Heath and Ellen, journey to discover whether Heath did, in fact, kill Larry Crow. The suspense is quite taut, but there is an emotional element at play here as the story expertly portrays the difficulties that gay people face during this time period and how they always had to be extremely careful of what they said or how they acted, lest they find themselves in a whole heap of trouble. So in this way, the author does a phenomenal job of portraying the atmosphere of 1940s Milwaukee, as well as illustrating the danger in being outed and how quickly it could destroy lives, all of which really brought this story to life for me. Additionally, the book explores some very real concerns about spousal abuse, intolerance, regret, secrets, and discrimination. And you know, my heart ended up breaking in so many places during this story, as it was quite a traumatic roller coaster of a ride. And you know, I was really overwhelmed by the deep impact, the deep and powerful impact that this story had on me. But it was still a lot of fun to unravel the mystery of what happened to Larry Crow. And what we end up with then is a twisted and suspenseful little mystery that entangles secrets, identity, and murder. I thought that Death Overdue is a masterful historical fiction set in the late 1940s that illuminates the very real issues of intolerance and discrimination. Moreover, the book is really well written, lovely, eloquent, and an engaging story with a twisty little mystery to solve as well. I definitely plan on picking up more books by this author, and I do believe the author is also a Milwaukee native, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, this definitely ended up being a 5-star read for me. Did you like this video? If so, please click the like button below, as that really helps my channel out and helps it to get discovered. And as always, I thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all of your support, and I will talk to you all in the next video. Roger and out.